What is good, everybody? This is Show Your Stripes. My name is Will, and this is episode number 6, I believe, of our podcast. I'm joined as always, by Allie.
Hey guys, what's up? We're coming off of a interesting week and an interesting series against the Minnesota Twins. And with the trade deadline on Tuesday, I guess we have a lot to talk about with all of that happening.
Yeah. First up, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of touch on the two games we didn't cover in Toronto, because we're not gonna really. There was not much to talk about in those games. Let's be honest. Both those games were kind of washes because nothing happened in them.
No, we scored a few runs. Between those two games, we had 4 runs, but there was nothing crazy about our offense or defense those games.
The only thing that I think happened on Saturday was the fact that Derek Law made his Tigers debut, and he was the first major league pitcher in history to in his first outing of the season, I believe it was, to hit a batter, commit an error, walk a man, and
a home run.
Give up a home run, yeah, and it was all in the same inning.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting to watch.
Yeah, it was not pretty because Derek Law was clearly not supposed to be there, and he was only there because Chafin was not vaccinated at the time, and he didn't show. And that's who apparently was the best option down in Toledo to bring up.
Yeah, that shocks me a little bit, just based on, seeing him again play today, but I don't know. I don't know how we didn't have anyone else better to bring up, but, I guess we just have to go with it. Hopefully they send him back down to work on that, but, who knows what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, that's really all you really can say about that game, because it was a complete wash. And then obviously on Sunday there was the game on Peacock where the score was 4-1. There was literally nothing interesting. It was basically just another case of other team scores more runs than the Tigers. Tigers offense does legitimately nothing.
Literally just 3 hits, and the only reason we were on the board that day is because of Baez's home run. So
we had more errors than we did hits that game, which was embarrassing.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. There's just too many errors lately, way too many. And now I believe Baez is the leader in MLB with the amount of errors. I think he has 15 now.
Yeah,
at least the last time I saw.
I'm going to check it right now, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was last I checked it. Let's see.
It's just unacceptable. It's too much. Too many. Every game, we leave every game with at least 1 error.
Yep, it's Baez with 15, but he's also tied with Bobby Witt Jr. now. So
just too many for the amount that you're paying him. It's too much. It's too many. There's no reason there should be that many errors being committed every game.
Yeah, it was. That game on Sunday was a complete wash, especially considering it was at noon, the noon start. Literally nothing good happened in that game. It seemed like Javi Baez was the only one who decided to show up.
Yeah. Definitely not the greatest way to end that series. So we ended up winning only 1 game out of that 4-game series against the Blue Jays. So.
All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, now we could talk about the fun stuff. I guess if you want to go ahead and call it that, if it's really fun at all, because these last 3 games were it seemed like only it's another tale of the Tigers show up for 1 game of the 3-game set.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty on par for how it's been lately. You get 1 game of hope, and then the rest are just usually a little bit disastrous. Today, the series in general, just overall what we had, I think it was 39 strikeouts this past series, or 39 to 40, somewhere around that number.
That, yeah.
There's just nothing coming from the offense.
Yeah, The game on Monday, obviously, the Tigers lost 5-3, and I'll give them credit. They actually held the lead for most of that game, it seemed.
Yeah.
But
The ninth, definitely an interesting way for us to get to the 10th inning there. That
yeah,
was,
they had a 2-0 lead all the way into the bottom of the eighth when now ex-Tiger Michael Fulmer came in and blew the 2-run lead that we had. And they should have walked it off in the ninth, let's be honest, but Nick Gordon got picked off at third base, and really that's the only reason the game didn't end in the ninth inning.
yeah. And then in the 10th, they were able to tie it 3-3. And then you had Urshela hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 10th, which allowed them to win that game. So,
Yeah,
I mean, they
yeah,
definitely were fighting their way to win that one, but it just wasn't enough.
yeah. It seemed like, I mean, especially considering Badu was the one who got the RBI in the 10th that made it a 3-2 Tigers lead. It
When
felt
he,
like to me it was another one of those cases where, because we've seen this before, where the Twins will end up walking us off in some bizarre fashion. I mean, at least it wasn't as heartbreaking as that other play that I will not mention any further than that. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely frustrating because you thought a guy like Lang would be able to shut the door, and his stuff was just not there that night.
and it obviously, I mean, you look at it and you had Badu get the RBI, and I mean, he struck out, I think, every other at bat so that day. So I mean, at least we saw some improvement because I know since he came back, he's been on a stretch of not being able to hit. So I mean, that was definitely nice to see, but it just wasn't enough to get us to that point of winning. I don't know what it is about the Twins, but it seems to happen very frequently to us.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers here. Tigers only had 5 hits, those coming from Victor Reyes, Harold Castro, Willie Castro, Tucker Barnhart, believe it or not, and Akil Baddoo.
Oh yeah, those
And
two are. I mean, those two RBIs were from Barnhart that day, which was honestly shocking. I mean, he had a really good day. Like that was a really good game for him because that was his
and,
first game I think all season. He's had more than one RBI.
and he got to 11 on the season, which is embarrassing, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, literally basically had a quarter of the amount he had previously for the rest of the season just on that night alone.
Yeah. Um, Obviously, Scooble started the game on Monday. He went 5 innings, ended up having to leave um with left arm, was it forearm tightness? And I remember
Gee,
like when that something like that when they started when he left the game, everyone's like, "Oh, he got traded," and I was like, "No, I don't think he would have left the game with the guy warming up in the pen like that if there wasn't if it wasn't an injury, because we've seen it enough."
I definitely was one of those people that were worried, and I'm very glad that it didn't end up being the case of him getting traded. I'm really now I know today he got put onto a 15-day IL, so hopefully he is able to come off of that after the 15 days because we definitely need him here. But I'm hoping that it's nothing too serious because I know they're just trying to be extra cautious because of all of our starting injuries.
I mean, it seems about fitting we bring Matt Manning back from the injured list, and Scooble gets injured for the first time all season.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's just on par with how the season has gone. And I know we say that a lot, but I don't even know what else to say about it at this point.
I'm looking, and we got Vest went in and pitched the sixth. He had no issues. Joe Jimenez dominant as always. Michael Fulmer was the reliever who blew the save in the eighth. The last time he ever pitched as a Detroit Tiger. He went 1/3 of an inning, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, all earned, and struck out 1. and it was fortunate enough not to take the loss. Soto had to come in, obviously, and I'll give him credit. Soto ended up actually being effective after more than one inning.
Who would have thought the day would come? But I honestly was shocked.
Yeah, I don't think none of us were anticipating that to be the case.
No, not after we've seen multiple times this season that obviously not going into our favor. And I mean, it the game itself did not go into our favor, but it wasn't on him, which is something that I usually feel we don't say.
Yeah. Um, and then obviously Lang, like I said, came in the 10th, gave up the game tying single, I believe, and then Gio Urshela walked it off on a absolute nuke to center field, which of course would not have been out at Comerica Park, just to make it even worse.
Before I saw that pitch was gone, I really secretly was hoping that Riley Green was going to do one of his immaculate catches in center field, but just was a little bit too far out of reach for that one.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought he at least, the way he read it off the bat, I thought he might have had a shot at maybe robbing it, but it just kept carrying over the wall in center field at target field there.
Yeah, no chance of getting that one. And I mean, it goes back to it that it just happens very frequently with the Twins, and at this point, I feel like I almost expect it.
Yeah. Mm. I mean, that's all you really get. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just a little razzled. I mean, I've said basically everything that can be said about that game on Monday.
Yeah. Moving on to Tuesday's game, though, it definitely, I mean, it seems like our offense was a little bit there. I mean, we had a decent amount of hits, I believe. I don't remember the exact number, but
7 hits on Tuesday, and that was Matt Manning's first start since I believe April.
yeah, April 16th. It definitely, I mean, I think that start actually went pretty decent for him. I think he allowed, what was it? I think 2 or 3 runs. But for
Yep.
his first start back since April, I mean, I don't think we could have expected anything. I mean, and I wasn't expecting anything insane, but I was really hoping it wasn't going to be a complete downfall of a start because I know coming back, I feel like some of our pitchers coming back from the injured list have had rough starts.
Yeah, he went 5 innings, of course, allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run to Joe Contreras. It was no, it was. I'm sorry, it was it was. I'm sorry, Mark Contreras, whoever that is, and the Tigers ended up winning that one 5-3. Even though the pitching wasn't, I mean, it wasn't terrible. Let's be honest. The bullpen was effective yesterday. He had Foley going an inning, only allowing 1 hit, walked one, but got out of it. Chafin had a perfect inning. Joe had 1 hit, but got out of it, and then Soto a flawless ninth.
Today, like these past 2 days with Soto have been honestly surprising. Like
He's
those
been
last 2 games.
he's been way more effective recently than as of probably over the past month. He's been lights out at least for the past few saves,
Yeah,
albeit
it's
except for that one against the Padres last week. He hasn't had any real issues.
no, it's nice not having the stress of that because I mean, I know a lot of people feel that way, get very stressed out when they see him come to the mound. So it's definitely it was a nice feeling not to have that kind of anxiety watching the game.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers here. You had Riley Green and Javi Baez both had 2 hits yesterday. Eric Haas had a hit. Jonathan Scope had a hit and an RBI. Riley had 2 of those RBIs. Baez had 1, and Badu had a hit and another RBI for him. And and it was just a struggle for the rest of the lineup, but the guys who hit consistently.
Yeah, Green's been doing a lot better. I mean, I know the past few games before this series have been a little rough, and he was striking out a lot more than usual, but he really seemed to pick it back up these last two games.
Yeah. Um, and obviously the Twins had Chris Archer go out on the mound, and he was effective at least it seemed for the first few innings, and he ended up only allowing 2 runs, walked 3, struck out 8, and the only reason we won that game, I'll be honest, is when they brought in Griffin Jacks because he went 1/3 of an inning, allowed 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned, and struck out only one batter and walked one. So it seemed like we could only hit off of him and a little bit of Chris Archer. It seemed to me, at least.
No, that's definitely how it seemed. I mean, I feel like everyone else this whole series, we have struggled to even just make contact with the ball. Like, it's just been a ridiculous amount of strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very high amount of strikeouts this series. Even on the game that we won, there was a total of, let's see here, there was sorry, 13 strikeouts yesterday, which is for a team that won, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, that's insane. That is an insane amount of strikeouts. I mean, we weren't even making contact with the ball. So honestly, I'm still shocked that we won yesterday. I mean, I'm glad we won yesterday, but I'm still honestly shocked about it.
Yeah. All right, moving on from yesterday's game, now we got to talk about the snooze fest that occurred at Target Field this afternoon. Tigers lose 4-1 to the Minnesota Twins, and let's be honest, I didn't even watch most of this game, and I still feel like I know how the script went. Let's be honest.
Basically, the only reason we didn't get shut out is because of Riley Green, and that is basically the summary of the game.
I'm
I
looking at
mean,
it here. Tigers only had 4 hits, and 3 of them were from Harold Castro.
I mean,
I mean,
there's
just
only I. It was him and Riley then for the game hitting,
yeah. Riley had the
and
1 hit, and that was it.
I mean that's crazy. There's no. I mean there was. I mean I think we had what 14 strikeouts today too.
Yeah, 14 strikeouts, and I'm looking at here the Willie Castro got on base somehow. I'm not sure exactly how he did. It's because he went 0 for 3, but got on base and scored a run. I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe it was an error of some sort. And the only, I mean, I'm looking at, we only walked once and struck out 14 times. That's amazing.
I mean that's just crazy to me. That is absolutely like. I mean there was nothing happening with it. Like nothing happening with our offense at all.
The Twins pitched, what did they put out there today? They had Joe Ryan out there. He went 5 innings, allowed only 1 run, 3 hits, struck out 9 Tigers. And this is a guy who had an outing in San Diego this past weekend where he allowed 10 runs. So to get dominated like that out of by him, that's just kind of sad, not surprising at all.
It's just. I mean you feel like. I feel like this is the one team that no matter how bad the pitcher is, we somehow manage to make them look like some CY Young amazing pitcher.
Yeah. And then I'm looking at here. Obviously, the Tigers ended up or I'm sorry, the Twins. It's kind of hard to believe that I'm saying this. The Twins ended up bringing out Michael Fulmer.
Oh,
I'm still not used to it.
that was so weird to watch. Like that, I at that point I was watching the game, and it was just like it just didn't feel right. It was so weird.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of him in the Twins uniform. It just doesn't look right to me. And we'll get into all the trades and probably not even just the Tigers ones. But I just saw that and I'm like, I saw it on my Twitter feed because I was at the pool and I checked out I got out and checked Twitter for a minute, and I see Michael Fulmer's pitching for the Twins, and I'm like, oh, that's just not right. And of course, he allows only one hit and strikes out one and gets out of the sixth.
And I can't even imagine, like, literally, he was on your bullpen on Monday and then having to literally bat against him on Wednesday. Like, I
And he
can't
still
imagine.
stayed at the Tigers' team hotel.
I saw that because I saw that on some Twitter page today that he was still, like, that he walked in with the coaches last night.
Kind of hard to believe. I mean, because I know he wasn't the only guy who got traded to the team that his original team was facing. Because I believe Christian Vasquez of the Red Sox was one of them. But it just seems weird to be playing for one team like that you've been with your entire career, and then you get traded the next day to the team that they are playing.
And then walking across from one dugout to the other.
Yeah,
Like, that's just so weird.
but move back on. We got Caleb Thielbar went 1 inning, struck out 2 Tigers. Duran 1 inning, walked one, struck out another, and then the newest member of the Twins, Jorge Lopez, got the save for the Minnesota Twins as the Tigers' offense was anemic as it always is. At least that's how it seemed to me. And like I
Yeah.
said, I didn't watch most of this game, but the stats do speak for themselves. I mean, 4 hits and three of them come from one guy.
Yeah. Like, that shouldn't be happening. It should not just be coming down to 1 to 2 players actually allowing for us to get a run or even win a game. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to watch when there's nothing to watch. I mean, you watch them and they're basically coming and just striking out on half of their plate appearances.
I mean, to be honest, the lineup today was pretty embarrassing in its own right, just because obviously we got the news before the game today that Miguel Cabrera is not going to be playing as much as he has been because his right knee is bothering him again, and we know that's been an issue for him over the past at least 4 seasons. But him not being in the lineup seemed to kind of hurt the vibe of the team, at least to me.
Yes, no, I agree. And it just makes you realize that his end of his career is coming closer. And it's definitely just like hard to picture that because I feel like it's just such a, like, Miggy's the center of the dugout. So not having him there, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that's probably not until next season, but still, I'm hoping that with him sitting out a few more games this season, that he's able to still perform and be able to get those hits that he has been getting this season when he does play.
Yeah. Um, I think we can move on from this game, and now we can go ahead and talk about the trade deadline or should I say, what Avila's trade deadline is? Because it was a very, uh, it seemed like Al did not know when the deadline even was. To be honest,
Oh, yes, it definitely felt like that. I mean, I just kept waiting for something to come through. And I mean, we did get the one the night before, but I felt like it was just a waiting game and nothing happening.
obviously the Tigers on it was on Monday night after the game they traded away Robbie Grossman, who I could not believe we ended up trading away. At least we were able to find somebody who would trade for him. We traded him to the Atlanta Braves for, let's see here, I forgot his name. I just gotta find it here. Yeah. Sorry, we're almost there. I mean, okay, hold on. It was August 1st. I'm just like scrolling through an article here. I know it was It was Chris Anglin, a pitcher who I believe was in low A ball in the Braves organization, and he had a 4.3 ERA in in this season with 71 strikeouts, 63 and 2/3 innings, and he's 24 and he's still in low A ball, which is concerning, especially considering it's another pitcher.
Feel like I definitely wasn't fully expecting him to be traded, to be honest. That wasn't on my radar of someone actually being traded off the team. But I definitely feel like, I don't know. I don't really feel we have necessarily benefited or did not benefit from that trade. I don't really know. But do we really honestly need another pitcher is what I'm feeling, because you look at our season and you obviously can see that our offense has been the biggest struggle, but yet here we are making trades for more pitchers. I don't know. That's just how I'm feeling about it. But
I know that if Grossman didn't get traded, he'd probably get designated for assignment after the deadline passed anyway, because it was pretty clear to me that he was not going to be in this organization past the deadline, regardless of what happened, because
yeah,
he was pitiful over his last few games as a Tiger.
yeah, definitely not easy to watch. You just automatically basically knew the second he got up there that it was going to be a strikeout.
But yeah, the main trade that we have to discuss here, at least for the Tigers, that really at least annoyed me to an extent that was ridiculous. The Tigers I think it was like 20 minutes before the deadline decided to Al decided to trade Michael Fulmer to the Minnesota Twins for Sawyer Gibson Long, who is a 24-year-old pitching prospect, 6th-round pick in 2019, who has a 7 ERA in Double-A.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense to me.
Like
Like
I understand that you want to get some guys in the pen, or at least in the system, to be pen players in the future, but like, for crying out loud, the guy's got a 7 ERA. I don't understand why Al thought, oh, let's go ahead and trade a one of our best relievers for fucking table scraps.
no, it just doesn't make sense.
And of course, he decided not to trade everybody else. Like, he decided not to trade Soto. No, he didn't trade Chafin. He didn't trade. Hell, he didn't trade Haas either. There were probably he could, if he was smart, he probably could have like packaged some of these guys together and decently gotten some good prospects out of it. But no, this is Avila we're talking about, and he's got the IQ of probably a P. So,
Yeah, I just feel like we did not benefit at all from either of the trade. You look at Fulmer, he's been with the organization for quite a bit of time, and he is a very good reliever. So to just basically get that trade for not much out of it, I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me, and it definitely pissed me off a little bit, especially. And it's not just the fact that it was definitely weird seeing him play against the Tigers today, like we discussed, but I don't know.
yeah, I understand that Al's gonna say like, oh, well, we need bullpen arms, but he's even said, I think, after the deadline that there were too many bullpen arms on the market, and I'm like, bull fucking shit. No, there were not enough bullpen arms on the market. You probably just thought what you were asking for was way too high, and when nobody wanted to do it, you said, oh, fuck it, I'll take peanuts.
I mean, that's been a big thing I feel with us overall, is that we haven't really gotten anything out of our trades the past few years, but I don't know. I just feel like
It's gonna change until Avila's out of a job, because we cannot develop a lot of the guys we can develop like pitching, yes, but like it's hard to develop hitting, and apparently it's like, or the logic here is, We have the worst offense in Major League history right now. So let's add more pitching.
So why not actually try to get someone, at least one person that we can bring in to increase our hitting and our offense, because it's obviously the one thing that we need. But yet no, we're not going to do that, because why would we?
When was the last time Avila traded away a player on our team for a hitting prospect? And I think that don't quote me on this, but I feel like it could have been Willie Castro. It's been a while.
It hasn't been recent, so I don't know what that shows, but it obviously just shows that we're not trying to actually create more of a winning team here. I mean, our batting averages are just so low on the team right now that it's hard to watch when you have all of these other teams, or even like the other teams that were making these trades to just increase their power. I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot of teams that I feel benefited off the trade deadline a lot more than they did with us.
Yeah. Speaking of other teams, obviously the big trade splash was Juan Soto and Josh Bell going from the Washington Nationals and to the San Diego Padres for basically half the organization when they traded away Luke Voigt, Mackenzie Gore, C.J. Abrams, Robert Hassell III, and James Wood, and Jarlin Susana. So they traded away 6 players for 2.
That's crazy. That's a lot. That is a lot to trade
It's
off.
only because the Nationals didn't want to pay Soto what his market was worth, and I understand that you got to cut corners somewhere, but the dude's like one of the best players in baseball. You got to pay him like that. You can't cut corners with a guy of his nature.
No, and I know that that trade insanely upset the Nationals fans as well. I mean, they all knew it was coming, but I just feel there was a lot of drama that happened within this trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who the Nationals. What was their lineup today? I want to see this because I want to see like who did they put out there on the field the day after they traded away one of their best players in recent memory. You've got Victor Robles, um, Luis Garcia, Yadiel Hernandez, um, Joey Meneses, Kaber Ruiz, Cesar Hernandez, Lane Thomas, Josh Palacios, and Ismael Vargas, I believe. Yeah, Ariel, yeah, the ex, uh, the ex Cub. I mean, if that's not a minor league lineup, I don't know what is.
I mean, they lost their game today, didn't they? I think
Yeah,
they
they
already
lost
played
nine to
today.
five to the New York Mets.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very interested to see how the Padres game goes tonight. I'm very interested to see that score because I know it's not until later, but I
It
mean,
should be at 9, I think. I think it's at 9. It should be starting soon. It could be wrong though. I'm trying to see it here. Let's see. Yep, 9:40. 9:40 at Padres and Rockies. And Soto and Josh Bell make their first appearance as a member of the San Diego Padres. And
I
I
mean
mean,
that
obviously,
that lineup is just insane
like
to
what is
me.
I gotta see what their lineup is tonight. They got Jurickson Profar batting first and playing left field. Juan Soto in right field. Manny Machado at third base, Josh Bell at first base, Jake Cronenworth at fifth and batting second. Another new acquisition, Brandon Drury batting sixth and playing designated hitter. Jorge Alfaro seventh and catching. Trent Grisham in center field, and Ha-Sung Kim is the shortstop. They've got 7 of the 9 guys in that lineup have more than 10 home runs this season.
That's an insane lineup. I mean, I just feel it's going to be an interesting second half now with the rest of these players that joined. I'm very interested to see how the rest of this season goes with that because I feel
And of
there
course,
was definitely some teams that benefited very highly off of this trade.
the Tigers are. We've got a lineup where we have only two guys who hit 10. Guys. They've got 7. We've got 10. Or 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's just in their lineup for today, not yet the rest of their team. So,
And that's excluding Tatis, and obviously his numbers aren't. He's been injured this entire season, but well, I'm sure when he comes back, he's going to hit the cover off the ball.
yeah, definitely.
The other
I don't
trades
know.
here we got Joey Gallo headed to the Dodgers for right-handed pitcher Clayton Beeter. I don't even know who that is, but um, yeah, that one was interesting because I feel like knowing it's the Dodgers, they're going to revive Joey Gallo's career.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. And I mean, I know that I had a feeling that he was going to get traded just based on how Gallo's been doing this season. But I don't know.
You've got I'll just go through a couple of the more important ones and we'll end it. You got Jordan Montgomery going to the Cardinals from the Yankees for Harrison Bader and a player to be named later or cash, which is very interesting because um Bader's been injured for quite a while, and I understand they wanted a guy who can play center field other than Aaron Judge, but I didn't quite understand that trade.
No, I mean, if they've been injured for a while, that in my mind doesn't 100% make sense. I mean, they probably knew what they were thinking with it, but I don't know. That's definitely interesting.
Put this out real quick. I'm just reading off of Twitter, and obviously our friend Chris Castellani just put up this tweet here. Sandy Alcantara has had 10 starts or more this season, or 10 starts this season where he's thrown 8 or more innings in a game, and that's in only 22 starts. The Tigers, since 2018, have had 7 combined, and that's
That's
over 649 starts.
that's crazy. I just saw that come up on my feed too. That's absolutely crazy.
And I know, like pitching long into games is hard to do in today's game, but like what Sandy Alcantara is doing is not like on another level of insanity.
Yeah, that that's that is an insane stat about that. That's crazy.
I mean, the Marlins have their first ace since the late Jose Fernandez. I'll be honest with you, and it's been a while.
Yeah,
Back to the topic at hand here. You've got uh Brandon Marsh going to the Phillies for a catching prospect, and I just thought to myself, okay, that's a Dave Dombrowski move if I've ever seen one. You trade for a guy who has a ton of club control, and you give up one of your best prospects for him. So yeah, I didn't. I understand that Brandon Marsh probably wasn't going to stick around in the Angels system much longer, but like that didn't make sense to me, at least from a Phillies perspective.
yeah, agree. Yeah.
This was the one I thought was a hell of an overpay right here. The Mets acquired Darren Ruff from the Giants for J.D. Davis, left-handed pitcher Thomas Saputsky, left-handed pitcher Nick Zwack, and right-handed pitcher Carson Seymour. So they traded away 4 players, 1 major league player, and 3 prospects for Darren Rupp, and I'm not even sure if if he's even been like what his average is or anything. Because I haven't looked at it. I'm gonna probably look into it right now. But like I felt like when I heard that trade, I'm like, that's got to be an overpayment because like what
That's a
has Darren Rupp been doing for me recently?
that's a large trade, and that is a lot of talent you are giving up for one player. So, I mean, hopefully it was worth it for them, but that definitely seems like an overpay for sure.
Yeah, Darren Rupp this season is hitting 216 with a 701 OPS and 11 home runs, and they traded away three prospects and a major league player for him. I just don't quite understand that trade at all. I mean, even I understand he's having like probably one of the better years of his career because like I'm looking at his numbers here. His average is way down. I just don't understand why they traded to get him. Um,
No, I really don't understand it either.
um, here's another one. Former Tiger Matthew Boyd and Kurt Casale head to the Mariners from the Giants for catcher Andy Thomas and Michael Stryfeller. And funny enough, this morning one of the first things I checked was my TikTok account, and one of the videos was from Andy Thomas's girlfriend saying, "Oh, he got traded. We're gonna have to like move to another city and everything." And I'm like, "Oh man, I feel it sucks for you. It's not my issue."
No, I feel like I've been seeing a few of those on TikTok about these families having to move further right from the trades.
And it's funny because Matt Boyd gets traded to the Mariners without throwing a single pitch for the San Francisco Giants. I just found that hilarious from a, from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's very weird to me. I don't know. That just seems very I really don't understand that, but I mean, I don't know. That's definitely interesting.
Some other ones here: Jose Quintana and Chris Stratton to the St. Louis Cardinals uh from the Pirates for right-handed pitcher Johan Oviedo and third baseman Malcolm Nunez. And I understand that that's the Pirates and are probably going to trade everybody decent on their roster. But why'd they trade in division? I don't quite understand that one.
No, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Another thing, the Reds, what were the Red Sox doing? Um, they seemed to like trade like some guys. They traded away Christian Vasquez to the Astros, but then they also added by adding was it they added Tommy Pham and Eric Hosmer while not trading away JD Martinez and any of the other guys that they were rumored of trading away. So I are they just trying to delay the inevitable? Because I feel like they're headed towards a rebuild of some sort.
I don't know. I was like looking at that and that just honestly surprised me with all of that because I feel like honestly that's what it seems like they're trying to do, which
Because
doesn't make
I seen another stat. If you remove the month of June, the Red Sox would have the fourth worst record in baseball. They have not been good.
Are
And the
you
only
serious?
reason they have a somewhat respectable record is because they went 20-4 in the month of June.
That, that's crazy. I know we've talked about them a little bit, but I mean I know they were on a downfall with that, but that is honestly that's crazy to me.
Some other ones here. Obviously, Josh Hader headed to the San Diego Padres. That one I didn't quite understand. I did hear the explanation that the Brewers wanted to like be able to have some prospects for the future, yet also try and contend at the same time. But you traded away your all-star closer, who has basically been unhittable in his entire career, for the guy who blew two saves against the Tigers last week and three other players.
Yeah, that deal. I mean, I don't know. I feel if you're blowing games against the Tigers, why would you want to inherit that player? I don't know. I guess that's just how I'm feeling about it, but I definitely feel like there was a lot of them that were more one-sided trades rather than both teams benefiting from it.
And then you obviously the one last one I'll probably cover, and then we'll go ahead and probably preview the next series. You've got the Astros acquiring Trey Mancini and Jalen Murray from the Rays as part of a three-team trade that would send Jose Siri to the Rays from the Astros, and the Orioles would acquire Seth Johnson from the Rays and Chase McDermott from the Astros. And I feel bad for Trey Mancini in that scenario because the dude was loved by everybody in the Orioles system. And I don't quite understand what the Orioles were doing in that scenario because they were 2 games behind in the wild card, and yet they decided to sell anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. That I know his first game with the Astros, his first hit was a 2-run homer. So, I mean, I guess he showed that he's going to play anywhere he goes, but that just, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me with why they would trade him.
I know he. I mean, no. I feel like he. I think he was a free agent after this season anyway, and I
Okay.
know that he was probably not going to come back just because I think he was complaining about the dimensions of uh Camden Yards moving the wall back in left field, which he's not alone. I found that was completely ridiculous and unnecessary. But I'm hoping he can. I mean, a guy like Trey Mancini, you'd love to see him win a World Series, but I mean, the Astros, man, really? That was the team that wanted him. But moving on, go ahead and we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about the next series. The Tigers come home and we will play the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Rays will have, let's see, they will have tomorrow. I believe it'll be Drew Hutchison for the Tigers against who is this? Springs. It's Jeffrey Springs, who has a 2.70 ERA and a 3-3 record, against Drew Hutchison, who has a 1-4 record with a 4.5 ERA. And that game, apparently, excluding Valley Sports, it will be on Valley Sports, but it apparently will also be on national TV on Fox Sports 1. So, I guess if you wanted to watch the most anemic offense in the history of the game, go ahead and tune to FS1. Um,
They will
but
be on national TV. That let's just hope they don't completely bomb offense tomorrow.
yeah, I mean, you can just hope for something decent out of it. And
Yes.
then Friday they have a 7:10 game at Valley Sports. It'll be Corey Kluber. Wonderful. I despise that man. I hate him so much. He owned us in the past, and I cannot stand to watch him pitch. I fucking despise him. Against a pitcher that has not been named, because whose spot in the rotation would that have been? It wouldn't have been. Would it have been Scoobles? I think it would have been.
Yeah, I think it would have been Schools.
And obviously he went on the injured list today. And and um and we'll go ahead and point up the fact of the Tigers also decided to send down Zach Short one day after calling him up, just to bring up Daz Cameron, which makes me wonder, why would you bring up Zach Short if you were going to send him down anyway?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, if you were just going to bring Daz up, why didn't you just do it 2 days ago? I don't know. I feel like we've been making a lot of moves back and forth, and recently there's been a lot.
And then obviously on Saturday will probably be the game that I will go to, or at least one of the games we go to, because we obviously weren't going to try and go to one together and kind of cover that at one point. But on Saturday, you've got Shane McClanahan going for the Rays, who has a 2.07 ERA and a 10-4 record against Garrett Hill. And that'll be the game where Lou Whitaker will have his number retired and put up on the wall next to Alan Trammell's number on the bricks out in left field. So, I'm gonna be honest. That game, I feel like we're probably going to get owned because Shane McClanahan is a beast, and this is the Tigers' offense we're talking about. So,
Yeah, I'm not going to be shocked if that's what happens at all. I mean, hopefully it goes another way, but I feel like you just have to expect it at this point.
and then Sunday afternoon, you've got a game at 1:40 p.m. You've got a unknown starter for the Tampa Bay Rays against Matt Manning, who will be coming on this, I believe, his fourth start of the season, and he still has not gotten a decision yet. So it'll be interesting, and hopefully we can get him a win to put on that record there.
I'm hoping this next start goes better than his first start back, which I definitely think is a very good possibility.
So I think we've said everything we needed to say. It's been a long episode, guys, and I know we've kind of been all over the place, but thanks for sticking with us. And
Yes,
like I said in the last episode, we'll probably both do a game where we all both go together and talk about it firsthand from that perspective there or at the game. Or when we come back, I'm not sure.
yes, definitely. But we appreciate all the support.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. We always appreciate it, and we will let you know when we get the next episode out. It's kind of been eventful over the past week, and thanks for listening, guys.